All right, let's bring in retired FBI Supervisory Special Agent Richard Kolko. Thank you for being with us, Richard. You know, analysts have pointed to a particular part of this indictment that says any reasonable person would see Comey's post as a serious threat to cause harm to the president. Would you agree his post meets that threshold? And if not, how did a grand jury approve this? Was it filled with unreasonable people?
Well, you have to when you say reasonable people, now you're talking about a jury, and you have to be able to convince them beyond a reasonable doubt that the former director of the FBI walking on the coastline there found these shells and constituted a threat. And obviously, the threat has to have the ability and intent to do do that harm. I find that very difficult to believe. I'm not an attorney, so I understand that the prosecutors will come up with their case, but it's highly unlikely that. I'm actually surprised that they were able to get this to a grand jury. We're not going to hear the questions that were asked of the grand jury. That's how that works. But certainly the prosecutors were able to get there in front of the 23 people, make their case, get the indictment approved, and that's where we find ourselves here now. But it's going to be a tough uphill claim and a tough uphill case, and you're going to have First Amendment folks, and it's going to be very hard.
You know, I know in your background, you've investigated threats of violence. You were working during 9/11 and all the aftermath after that, right? There was a moment
Yes.
in that press conference where a reporter at the press conference of acting AG Blanche, Mary Margaret with Daily Wire, asked a pretty salient question that I want you to listen to, and then we'll talk about it a bit more on the other side.
Should we expect more indictments of this sort? For example, in 2020, Gretchen Whitmer did a TV hit with 8645 on her desk in the background. Is that the kind of thing you would pursue?
As far as other incidents of threats against the President of the United States, those will be investigated. Every case is different. The facts are different. Who makes the threat matters. What the threat says matters.
Now, Richard, I actually asked Governor Whitmer about it at the time in an interview when I worked back in Detroit. This was October 2020. And her response was 86 means reject. Anyone who works in the food industry, and I did, knows 86 means reject. And that's all. She rejected his rhetoric and policies, she said. But the reporter's question really does get at this question of what kind of precedent this DOJ is setting. I did a search just about an hour ago for 8647 on X, and here was one of the search returns I want to show you. Jake Posobiec, a prominent alt-right political commentator and Turning Point USA contributor who posted in 2022, 8646. So should he be indicted too for threatening to kill then President Joe Biden? Because that post is plain text, not seashells.
Well, there's certainly plenty of cases of that. You can buy the T-shirts online. You know, are those all considered threats? As an agent, you know, you would work with the U.S. attorneys and you would decide what cases you would bring to them to present to them to see what would go forward. And frankly, I find it hard to believe that this would have made it out of the squad area as far as even calling down to the U.S. attorney's office to say that this is a threat against the president. And the threshold is just higher than that because you don't want to waste anybody's time, and you don't want to try and bring a case that you're going to lose. The prosecutor's job is to win cases. They're going to have a tough time winning this case if this ever does actually get into a courtroom.
Do you see them going after other individuals that have made similar references, though?
No, I don't. But as the acting attorney general said, there are threat cases against the president all the time, and those do need to be investigated. Those do need to be prosecuted. We saw what just happened at the Correspondents' Dinner this last week. If there's an issue of a threat made online, then the Secret Service or the FBI or somebody better be knocking on that person's door to see what happened. But that is that specific incident, that threat. And while we all know that there's bad blood between Director Comey and the President of the United States, that's not at issue here. When you look at the 2 pages of this very thin indictment, and then can those charges be proven in a court of law? That's what it has to be specifically looked at here. Was this a threat that this man intended to carry out? And based on reading the 2 pages of the indictment, I find that very difficult to believe.
All right, Richard Kolko, thank you for lending your expertise to us this morning. Appreciate you.
Thank you.